A broke insurance salesman walks into an office building. He's been rejected 47 times today. He's exhausted, demoralized, ready to quit. But before knocking on door 48, he does something unusual. He smiles. Not because he feels happy, because he's decided that his attitude, not his circumstances, will determine his destiny. That salesman was W. Clement Stone. He went on to build a $400 million fortune and wrote this book with Napoleon Hill to reveal the secret that changed everything. Your mental attitude is worth millions. Success through a positive mental attitude isn't positive thinking fluff. This is the world-famous book by Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, and W. Clement Stone, who built massive wealth from nothing during the Great Depression. They studied thousands of successful people across decades and discovered one trait that separated achievers from failures more than intelligence, education, connections, or luck. A positive mental attitude they called PMA. Here's what makes this book dangerous to ignore. Your current mental attitude is creating your current results. If you're not where you want to be financially, professionally, or personally, your attitude is the problem, not the economy, not your background, not your circumstances, your attitude. And if attitude creates results, changing your attitude changes everything. Stone proved this by building enormous wealth, selling insurance during the Depression when everyone else struggled. Hill proved it by studying 500-plus millionaires and finding that PMA was the common denominator. Together, they created a formula that's helped millions achieve success they previously thought impossible. The subtitle says it all. The world-famous book that could be worth millions to you. That's not hyperbole. The right mental attitude literally multiplies your results. Over the next 30 minutes, you're getting 8 powerful principles of PMA that transform your thinking and your results. No vague inspiration, specific mental techniques that successful people use to create wealth, opportunity, and achievement. These principles changed lives for decades. They'll change yours if you apply them. Ready to discover how your mental attitude is either building or destroying your success? Let's begin. Chapter 1. PMA, Your Success Mechanism. Hill and Stone start with the foundation. PMA, positive mental attitude, is the single most important factor in determining success or failure. Not intelligence, talent, education, or circumstances. Attitude. 2 people with identical circumstances achieve wildly different results, based entirely on mental attitude. One person's attitude creates opportunity and success. The other's attitude creates obstacles and failure. They define PMA precisely. It's a mental attitude composed of positive characteristics including faith, integrity, hope, optimism, courage, initiative, generosity, tolerance, tact, kindliness, and good common sense. Conversely, NMA, negative mental attitude, consists of their opposites. Your dominant mental attitude, PMA or NMA, determines what you attract and achieve. The authors explain that PMA works through a specific mechanism. Your subconscious mind accepts whatever thoughts dominate your conscious mind, then works to make those thoughts reality. Think positively about success, opportunities, and solutions. Your subconscious creates circumstances aligned with those thoughts. Think negatively about failure, obstacles, and problems. Your subconscious creates those instead. This isn't mystical, it's psychological. Your attitude affects perception, which affects decisions, which affect actions, which create results. Someone with PMA sees opportunities others miss because they're looking for them. Someone with NMA sees obstacles everywhere because they're focused on problems. Same situation, completely different perceptions, completely different outcomes. Stone shares his own story as proof. Born to poverty, his father died when he was 3, leaving his mother with crushing debt. At age 6, he started selling newspapers to help survive. He could have developed NMA, focusing on unfairness, poverty, and victimhood. Instead, he developed PMA, focusing on what he could control, seeing selling as an adventure, and maintaining optimistic expectations. By age 13, Stone owned his own newsstand. By 20, he was in insurance. By 26, he owned an insurance agency. By his 40s, he'd built a 400 million fortune. Same starting point as countless people who stayed poor. The difference? Mental attitude. Stone saw opportunity in the depression while others saw only despair. His PMA created success where NMA would have guaranteed failure. Hill adds examples from his research. Henry Ford started with nothing, failed multiple times, faced constant skepticism, yet maintained absolute PMA that he'd succeed. His attitude attracted the right people, the right ideas, and the right circumstances. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times inventing the light bulb, but maintained PMA that each failure brought him closer to success. His attitude sustained effort that others would have abandoned. The authors emphasize that PMA doesn't ignore reality. It interprets reality constructively. When facing obstacles, PMA doesn't pretend they don't exist. It asks, how can I overcome this, instead of, why is this happening to me? That simple reframing changes everything. One question leads to solutions. The other leads to victimhood. They introduce the concept of the success formula. PMA plus definite purpose plus going the extra mile. Success. But PMA comes first. Without positive mental attitude, purpose lacks conviction, and extra effort feels like burden. With PMA, purpose becomes exciting, and extra effort feels natural. Hill and Stone also address skeptics who dismiss positive thinking as naive. Their response: examine results, study successful people systematically, and you'll find PMA consistently. Study failures, and you'll find NMA consistently. The correlation is undeniable. Dismiss PMA if you want, but don't expect success while maintaining NMA. The practical application starts with conscious monitoring. Throughout each day, catch yourself thinking negatively about circumstances, people, or possibilities. When you catch negative thoughts, consciously replace them with positive alternatives. This isn't denying reality. It's choosing constructive interpretation instead of destructive interpretation. The authors provide a specific daily practice. Each morning, declare aloud, I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific. Do this with enthusiasm, regardless of actual feelings. This self-suggestion programs your subconscious for PMA. Throughout the day, maintain this positive expectation. Before sleep, review the day's successes and set positive expectations for tomorrow. The action step: commit to 30 days of conscious PMA. Monitor your thoughts constantly. Replace negative thoughts immediately. Use the morning declaration daily. Maintain positive expectations regardless of circumstances. After 30 days, compare your results to the previous 30 days. The difference in opportunities, relationships, and outcomes will be dramatic. That's PMA working. Chapter 2. You are what you think. The second principle digs deeper into the mechanism. You literally become what you think about most. Your dominant thoughts shape your character, your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. This isn't metaphorical. It's the actual process through which thoughts become things. Hill and Stone explain that every action begins as a thought. Before you do anything, you think it first. Therefore, controlling your thoughts means controlling your actions. Control your actions consistently, and you control your destiny. The chain is unbreakable. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Change the thoughts and everything downstream changes. They introduce the concept of autosuggestion, the practice of deliberately choosing what thoughts to focus on rather than letting thoughts happen randomly. Most people let their minds wander, accepting whatever thoughts drift through. Successful people deliberately choose thoughts that move them toward goals, rejecting thoughts that don't serve their purposes. The authors share the story of a man facing bankruptcy who used autosuggestion. Instead of dwelling on debt and failure, he spent 30 minutes daily visualizing his business thriving, debts paid, and himself successful. He repeated affirmations about his capability and success. Within months, circumstances shifted. New opportunities appeared, solutions emerged, and he avoided bankruptcy. His deliberately chosen thoughts created new reality. Stone emphasizes that this works negatively too. If you constantly think, "I'm broke, nothing works for me," or "I'll never succeed," you're using autosuggestion to program failure. Your subconscious doesn't judge thoughts. It simply accepts them as instructions. Feed it failure programming, and it creates failure. Feed it success programming, and it creates success. Hill adds scientific backing. The reticular activating system, RAS, in your brain filters information based on what you focus on. When you focus on opportunities, your RAS highlights opportunities in your environment. When you focus on problems, your RAS highlights problems. You're literally training your brain what to notice based on your dominant thoughts. The practical technique they teach is the definite chief aim, a clear written statement of your primary goal that you read aloud twice daily with emotion and belief. This programs your subconscious to work toward that goal automatically. Your RAS starts noticing relevant opportunities. Your subconscious solves problems while you sleep. Your intuition guides you toward goal-supporting actions. They provide specific instructions. Write your definite chief aim in present tense as if already achieved. I am earning $100,000 annually, not I want to earn. Read it aloud, morning and night with emotional intensity. Feel the achievement. Visualize it vividly. See yourself living that reality. Do this daily without exception until achievement. The authors warn against contaminating your mind with negative inputs. Every book you read, show you watch, conversation you have, and person you associate with either supports PMA or undermines it. Consciously choose inputs that reinforce the thoughts you want to dominate your mind. Eliminate inputs that plant seeds of doubt, fear, or negativity. Stone shares that he read only inspiring books associated with optimistic people and avoided news that focused on disasters and problems. This wasn't ignorance. It was conscious curation of mental input to maintain PMA. He argued that most news is actually useless negativity that programs your mind for pessimism without providing actionable information. The action step. Create your definite chief aim statement today. Write it clearly and specifically. Read it aloud twice daily with emotion. Visualize achievement vividly. Also, audit your mental inputs. What books, shows, news, and conversations are you consuming? Eliminate sources of negativity and replace them with sources of inspiration and knowledge. Your mind becomes what you feed it. Choose the menu carefully. Chapter 3. Clear your mental cobwebs. The third principle addresses the obstacles within your own mind: fear, worry, guilt, and negative beliefs that act like mental cobwebs, invisible barriers preventing you from moving forward. Hill and Stone teach that before PMA can fully work, you must clear these internal obstacles. They identify the 6 basic fears that paralyze people: fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, and fear of death. These fears, particularly fear of poverty and criticism, destroy more dreams than any external obstacle. Most people's limitations are self-imposed through fear. The authors explain that fears are learned, not innate. Children don't fear poverty or criticism. Adults teach them these fears through words and examples. Since fears are learned, they can be unlearned through conscious effort. The first step is recognizing which fears control you. Most people deny their fears rather than confronting them. Hill shares the story of a talented salesman paralyzed by fear of rejection. Despite excellent products and communication skills, his sales were mediocre because fear made him approach customers tentatively. When he confronted this fear directly, deliberately seeking rejections to desensitize himself, his sales multiplied. The products and skills didn't change. His freedom from fear changed everything. Stone adds that worry is fear's cousin. It's dwelling on negative possibilities that haven't happened and likely won't happen. Statistics show that 92% of things people worry about never occur. Yet worry creates real stress, real health problems, and real performance decline. Worry takes the present moment hostage to an imaginary negative future. The technique they teach for eliminating worry is the worst-case scenario exercise. When worried about something, ask, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Then ask, could I survive that? Usually the worst case is survivable and unlikely. This rational analysis dissolves irrational worry. They also address guilt, dwelling on past mistakes. Guilt serves no constructive purpose once you've learned the lesson. Continuing to beat yourself up about past failures wastes energy and maintains negative emotional states that undermine PMA. The authors advocate learning from mistakes quickly, then releasing guilt completely. The formula they provide is simple. Recognize the fear, worry, guilt, accept it without judgment, rationally evaluate whether it serves any useful purpose, usually it doesn't, and consciously replace it with positive expectations. This isn't repression, it's replacement. You're not forcing negative emotions down, you're crowding them out with positive alternatives. Stone shares his practice. Whenever fear or worry arose, he'd immediately ask, is this useful? Is this helping? The answer was always no. Then he'd forcibly redirect his attention to his definite chief aim and positive affirmations. Initially, this required constant vigilance. Over time, it became automatic. His mind defaulted to PMA rather than fear. The authors also teach the importance of mental house cleaning, regular examination of your beliefs about yourself and the world. Many people carry limiting beliefs from childhood. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't succeed. Money is evil. These beliefs create invisible ceilings that prevent achievement regardless of effort. The action step. List your fears honestly. What are you afraid of regarding success, money, or achievement? Then use the worst-case scenario technique to rationally evaluate each fear. Also, Identify limiting beliefs you've carried from childhood or past experiences. Write them down. Recognize they're just beliefs, not facts, and consciously replace them with empowering alternatives. Mental cobwebs dissolve through direct confrontation. Chapter 4. Magnetize yourself. The fourth principle teaches that PMA makes you magnetic, attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances aligned with your goals. Hill and Stone explain that success is rarely achieved alone. You need others' cooperation, resources, and connections. PMA magnetizes these elements to you. The mechanism works through your attitude, affecting how others perceive and respond to you. Someone radiating enthusiasm, optimism, and positive expectation attracts people naturally. Someone projecting pessimism, cynicism, and negative expectation repels people. Same person, same goals, completely different social results based entirely on attitude. Stone shares how his PMA transformed his sales career. When he approached potential clients with genuine enthusiasm about helping them, expecting positive outcomes, his success rate multiplied. When he occasionally fell into NMA, feeling tired, discouraged, or pessimistic, his sales plummeted. Same products, same skills, same markets. His attitude determined whether people wanted to do business with him. The authors explain that this isn't manipulation, it's authenticity. People instinctively sense your true attitude. If you project enthusiasm you don't feel, they detect inauthenticity and distrust you. If you genuinely maintain PMA, people sense that authenticity and respond positively. You can't fake it effectively, but you can develop genuine PMA through practice. They introduce the concept of the law of attraction, not in mystical terms, but as practical social dynamics. When you expect good things and focus on opportunities, your behavior changes subtly. You smile more, speak more confidently, take more initiative. These behaviors attract positive responses from others, creating a self-reinforcing cycle. Hill shares examples from his research. Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and Thomas Edison all described how PMA attracted the right people at the right times. They didn't know consciously how opportunities would materialize, but they maintained absolute faith that the right people and circumstances would appear, and consistently they did. Their magnetic PMA drew in what they needed. The authors also teach that magnetism works through the service you provide. When you approach work with PMA, seeking to provide maximum value and help others succeed, you become someone people want to work with, hire, and promote. When you approach work with NMA, focusing on what you'll get rather than what you'll give, you repel opportunities. Stone provides the formula, PMA plus, going the extra mile. Magnetic personality. Going the extra mile means consistently doing more than you're paid for, providing more value than expected, and approaching every task with enthusiasm. This behavior, powered by PMA, makes you invaluable, and invaluable people attract opportunity constantly. They share the story of a janitor who maintained PMA and went the extra mile, keeping facilities spotless, arriving early, staying late, doing tasks beyond his job description. Management noticed his attitude and work ethic. Within 5 years, he was promoted to facilities manager. Within 10 years, he was operations director. His PMA and extra mile service magnetized opportunities that transformed his life. The practical application is conscious enthusiasm cultivation. Most people wait to feel enthusiastic. Successful people generate enthusiasm deliberately. They're enthusiastic about opportunities to serve, problems to solve and people to help. This deliberate enthusiasm becomes genuine, creating magnetic attraction. The specific technique: for 30 days, approach every interaction with conscious enthusiasm. Smile genuinely, speak with energy, express sincere interest in others. Provide more value than expected in every task. Notice how people respond differently, more warmly, more cooperatively, more generously. That's your magnetic PMA, attracting positive responses. The action step: choose one area, work, social, or family, where you'll apply magnetic PMA for 30 days. Bring genuine enthusiasm to every interaction. Look for ways to serve and add value. Go the extra mile consistently. Track the differences in how people respond and what opportunities emerge. The magnetic effect of PMA will be undeniable. Chapter 5. Learn to see. The fifth principle focuses on perception. PMA changes what you see in situations. Hill and Stone teach that circumstances themselves are neutral. Your interpretation determines whether they're opportunities or obstacles. PMA trains you to see opportunities where others see problems. They share the famous example of two shoe salesmen sent to a developing country. The first cables back: "No opportunity here. Nobody wears shoes." The second cables: "Tremendous opportunity. Nobody wears shoes yet." Same facts, opposite interpretations. The first salesman's NMA saw only obstacles. The second's PMA saw massive opportunity. The authors explain that this perceptual difference creates completely different actions and results. The first salesman returns home defeated. The second builds a thriving business. The circumstances were identical. Their mental attitudes determined completely different outcomes. Stone shares how he trained himself to see opportunities in problems. During the Depression, most insurance agents saw only economic disaster. People couldn't afford insurance. Stone saw opportunity. People needed protection more than ever during uncertain times. By framing his service as essential protection rather than discretionary expense, he thrived while competitors failed. Hill adds examples from his research. Milton Hershey failed in candy businesses 3 times before succeeding. Each failure taught lessons he applied to the next attempt. His PMA interpreted failures as education, not evidence he should quit. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 10,000 times. He successfully found 10,000 ways that didn't work. That perceptual reframing sustained effort that ultimately succeeded. The authors teach specific reframing techniques. When facing setbacks, immediately ask, "What's the opportunity here? What can I learn? How can this help me?" These questions force your brain to search for positives rather than dwelling on negatives. Initially, this feels forced. With practice, it becomes automatic, your default response to challenges. They emphasize that seeing opportunities requires looking. Most people see problems because they're looking for problems. If you look for evidence that life is hard and success is rare, you'll find abundant confirmation. If you look for evidence that opportunities exist and success is achievable, you'll find that too. You find what you seek. Stone provides a daily practice. Each evening, list 3 opportunities you noticed that day in conversations, situations, problems, or changes. This trains your mind to scan for opportunities constantly. Initially, you might struggle to find 3. Within weeks, you'll notice dozens daily. Your perception is retraining. The action step. For 1 week, whenever something negative happens, setback, rejection, problem, or failure, immediately ask, "What's the opportunity?" and write down at least 3 possible positives. This forces conscious reframing. Also, implement the evening practice of listing 3 opportunities noticed daily. Your perception will shift from problem-focused to opportunity-focused. That's PMA changing what you see. Chapter 6, Health and PMA. Your body responds to your mind. The 6th principle reveals the connection between mental attitude and physical health. Hill and Stone present evidence that PMA improves health, energy, and longevity, while NMA creates stress, illness, and early death. Your mind doesn't just affect your circumstances, it affects your body. They cite medical research showing that positive mental attitudes strengthen immune systems, reduce stress hormones, lower blood pressure, and improve recovery from illness. Conversely, negative mental attitudes weaken immunity, elevate stress hormones, increase blood pressure, and slow healing. The mind-body connection is medically documented, not metaphysical speculation. Stone shares his own experience maintaining extraordinary health and energy into his 80s through disciplined PMA. He consciously refused to dwell on aches, pains, or aging. When discomfort arose, he acknowledged it briefly, but immediately redirected attention to activities and goals. This wasn't denial. It was refusing to amplify minor issues through excessive focus. The authors explain that NMA creates a vicious cycle. Stress and negative thoughts cause physical symptoms, which create more negative thoughts, which worsen symptoms. Someone worrying about their health often creates the very health problems they fear. PMA breaks this cycle. Positive thoughts reduce stress, which improves physical health, which reinforces positive thoughts. They introduce the concept of psychosomatic illness, real physical symptoms created by mental and emotional states. Ulcers from worry, headaches from stress, back pain from tension, fatigue from depression. These aren't imaginary. They're genuine physical problems caused by NMA. Treating them requires changing the mental attitude, creating them. Hill shares cases of people who recovered from serious illnesses after adopting PMA. While not claiming PMA cures disease, the evidence shows it dramatically improves outcomes. Patients with positive expectations recover faster, experience less pain, and have better prognoses than those with negative expectations, even with identical medical treatment. The authors also address energy levels. PMA creates natural energy, enthusiasm, motivation, and stamina. NMA drains energy. Pessimism, negativity, and complaining are exhausting. 2 people with identical physical health will have drastically different energy levels based on mental attitude. The person with PMA feels energized and capable. The person with NMA feels tired and overwhelmed. Stone provides his daily health practices rooted in PMA. Morning affirmations about health and energy. I feel healthy. I feel happy. I feel terrific. Deliberate enthusiasm that generates natural energy, focusing on goals rather than ailments, and gratitude for physical capabilities rather than dwelling on limitations. They emphasize that PMA isn't a substitute for medical care. It's a complement. See doctors when needed, but recognize that your mental attitude significantly affects health outcomes, treatment effectiveness, and recovery speed. PMA patients heal faster, experience less pain, and recover more completely than NMA patients with identical conditions. The practical application includes conscious body-mind communication. Throughout the day, send positive messages to your body. I have abundant energy. My body is healthy and strong. I heal quickly and completely. This isn't magical thinking, it's programming your subconscious to support rather than undermine physical health. The authors also teach the importance of positive health vocabulary. Avoid constantly discussing ailments, complaining about aches, or predicting health decline. When someone asks, "How are you?" respond with genuine enthusiasm. "I feel terrific." Even if you don't feel perfect, this response programs PMA and often improves how you actually feel. The action step. For 30 days, implement morning health affirmations, eliminate health complaining, and redirect attention from discomfort to capability. When aches or pains arise, acknowledge them briefly, but refuse extended focus. Notice how energy, vitality, and actual health improve. The mind-body connection works both ways. PMA improves physical health, just as good health supports PMA. Chapter 7. Your Magnificent Obsession. The 7th principle introduces the concept of magnificent obsession, a purpose larger than yourself that provides ultimate motivation. Hill and Stone argue that the highest form of PMA comes from dedicating yourself to helping others and making positive impact beyond personal gain. They explain that purely selfish goals eventually lose motivational power. Once you've achieved comfortable wealth, bought desired possessions, or reached status goals, what then? Many successful people report emptiness after achieving selfish goals. But a magnificent obsession, a commitment to serving others and improving the world, provides unlimited motivation. Stone shares his magnificent obsession, helping others achieve success through PMA principles. After building personal wealth, he dedicated himself to teaching these principles and helping others escape poverty and achieve prosperity. This purpose gave his later life meaning that money alone never provided. Hill adds that his magnificent obsession emerged from Andrew Carnegie's challenge to document success principles for the benefit of millions. This purpose sustained Hill through 20-plus years of research, countless setbacks, and minimal compensation. A purely selfish motive would have collapsed under these challenges. His obsession with helping others sustained him. The authors present the paradox. The more you focus on serving others rather than yourself, the more success comes to you. This isn't mystical karma, it's practical psychology. When you're genuinely focused on helping others, you build trust, relationships, reputation, and skills that create opportunities. When you're purely self-focused, people sense it and resist helping you. They share the story of a businessman who shifted from profit-focused to service-focused. Initially, he chose customers and deals based on maximum profit extraction. He succeeded financially, but felt empty and struggled to maintain enthusiasm. When he shifted to choosing opportunities where he could provide maximum value and help clients succeed, his business grew dramatically and his fulfillment soared. The principle they teach is, give and it shall be given unto you, not as religious doctrine, but as practical success formula. When you help others succeed, they want to help you succeed. When you provide exceptional value, people want to work with you and refer others. When you genuinely care about others' welfare, they care about yours. Stone provides his practice. He constantly looked for ways to help others without immediate expectation of return. Mentoring young salesmen, sharing knowledge freely, connecting people who could help each other. This built a network of people who appreciated his help and eagerly reciprocated when opportunities arose. His giving multiplied returns beyond what selfish calculation ever achieved. The authors emphasize that magnificent obsession doesn't mean neglecting your own needs. It means expanding focus beyond just yourself. You still build wealth, achieve goals, and create security. But you do it in ways that simultaneously help others, creating dual benefit. This approach generates more success than purely selfish methods while providing deeper fulfillment. They also address the energy magnificent obsession provides. When you're working purely for yourself, motivation fluctuates based on mood and circumstances. When you're working for a larger purpose, motivation becomes more consistent. The sense that others depend on you and benefit from your efforts creates energy that sustains through difficulties. The practical application is identifying how your work or goals can serve others. If you're building a business, how does it improve customers' lives? If you're pursuing career success, how can you help colleagues and clients? If you're building wealth, how will you use it to benefit family, community, or causes you believe in? The action step. Define your magnificent obsession, a purpose beyond personal gain that motivates you deeply. Write it clearly. Connect your daily work to this larger purpose. Also, implement a giving practice. Regularly help others with no expectation of immediate return. Mentor, share knowledge, make connections, provide value. This cultivates the service mindset that paradoxically creates greatest personal success. Chapter 8. Now it's all up to you. The final principle is that knowledge without action is worthless. Hill and Stone emphasize that reading this book, understanding PMA, and agreeing with principles accomplishes nothing. Only application creates results. The principles work, but only if you work them. They confront the reader directly. You now know the success formula. You understand that PMA is the foundation of achievement. You've learned specific techniques for developing and maintaining positive mental attitude. You know about definite chief aim, autosuggestion, going the extra mile, seeing opportunities, magnificent obsession, and all the principles that separate success from failure. The question now is simple. Will you apply this knowledge or let it remain theoretical? Most people read inspiring books, feel motivated temporarily, then return to old habits and old results. Don't be most people. The principles in this book have created fortunes, transformed lives, and proven themselves across generations. But they only work if you work them. Stone shares that he encountered many people who knew success principles, but lived in failure because they never applied knowledge consistently. They'd get excited about PMA temporarily, apply it half-heartedly for a few weeks, then abandon it when results weren't instantaneous. Success requires sustained application, not occasional enthusiasm. Hill adds that the single biggest difference between successful and unsuccessful people is this. Successful people apply what they learn. Unsuccessful people accumulate knowledge, but never implement. Both groups might have equal intelligence and equal access to information. The difference is that one group acts while the other just knows. The authors provide a specific action plan. First, write your definite chief aim, your clear, specific primary goal, and read it aloud twice daily with emotion. Second, implement the morning PMA declaration. I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific. Third, consciously monitor and correct your thoughts throughout each day, replacing negative thoughts with positive alternatives. Fourth, go the extra mile in all activities, provide more value than expected. Fifth, develop your magnificent obsession, Commit to serving others through your success. They emphasize that initial application will feel awkward and forced. You won't believe your own affirmations. You'll forget to monitor thoughts. You'll struggle to maintain enthusiasm. This is normal. Persist anyway. Within weeks, these practices become more natural. Within months, they become habitual. Within a year, PMA becomes your default operating system. Stone shares his promise. Commit to 30 days of rigorous application of these principles. Not half-heartedly, but with complete commitment. After 30 days, evaluate your results honestly. If you've applied the principles fully and seen no positive changes, dismiss the book. But if you've applied them fully and seen results, commit to permanent application. He guarantees that full application produces results. The final message is urgent. Your life won't change through reading. It changes through doing. Every day you delay application is a day you stay exactly where you are. Every day you apply these principles is a day you move toward the success and fulfillment you desire. The choice is yours, and the time is now. There you have it, 8 powerful principles of PMA that Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone distilled from decades studying the most successful people in the world. PMA is your success mechanism that determines all outcomes. You become what you think about most consistently. Clear mental cobwebs of fear, worry, and limiting beliefs. Magnetize yourself to attract opportunities and people. Learn to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Your physical health responds to your mental attitude. Develop a magnificent obsession that provides ultimate motivation. And finally, apply this knowledge consistently, starting now. What makes this book worth millions isn't the information. It's whether you actually implement. Hill and Stone both built fortunes from modest beginnings using exactly these principles. Countless others have done the same. The principles work reliably when applied consistently, but they work for no one who only reads and never applies. The core message is that your current mental attitude is creating your current results. If you're dissatisfied with your circumstances, relationships, career, or finances, your attitude is the problem, not external circumstances. Change your mental attitude and everything else changes downstream. It's that simple and that difficult. Your action plan starts today. Write your definite chief aim, specific, clear, compelling. Read it twice daily with emotional intensity. Implement the morning PMA declaration. I feel healthy. I feel happy. I feel terrific. Monitor your thoughts consciously. Catch negativity and replace it immediately. Go the extra mile in everything. Develop your magnificent obsession focused on serving others. Commit to 30 days of complete application, not casual trying, but disciplined daily practice. After 30 days, your results will prove whether PMA works. We guarantee they will. But you must actually do the work. Knowledge alone creates nothing. Applied knowledge creates everything. Remember Hill and Stone's promise? This book could be worth millions to you. Not because they're exaggerating, because PMA multiplies results in every area. The person with PMA doing average work outperforms the genius with NMA. Mental attitude is the multiplier that makes everything else more effective. Thanks for watching this complete breakdown. If these PMA principles resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe for more wisdom from classic success literature. Comment with your definite chief aim. Declaring it publicly increases commitment. And remember, your mental attitude determines your destiny. Choose PMA, apply it consistently, and watch your life transform. The power is yours. The principles are proven. The only question is whether you'll use them. Now stop watching and go apply PMA to something today. Your successful future starts with a positive mental attitude right now.